Hello, this is Donna Lewis with the Clark County Park District again. I haven't been on here lately. We've had a busy time getting ready for our event on October 16th. So I hope you guys can come to the Haunted Halloween drive-thru. It's family friendly, so I hope you guys can be there. I have my bat shirt on today because today we are talking about bats. So this program is called the Reading in Nature program, and we do it in collaboration, I can't say that word today, with the New Carlisle Library. And so today we're going to read Bats at the Library. Perfect. It's Halloween time, you know, bats are something to talk about this time of year because people get freaked out by bats. And it's a library program, but all the library copies, all those copies were checked out. So we have Bats at the Ball Game. And coming from a big baseball family, and there's so many baseball fans out there, I thought this would be good. So this is called Bats at the Ball Game by Brian Lies, or Lies. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I don't think bats play baseball, but it's a fun story. Dusk creeps in and day is done. The last few rays of stubborn sun cling to hilltop, tree, and town. We wish that we could push it down. So, of course, the bats like it when it's dark, right? Why is that? We'll talk about that. Restless wings begin to itch. Excitement's at a fever pitch. At last it's time, and with a sigh, we hustle out to Diamond Sky. Hurry up, come on, come all. We're off to watch the bats play ball. How could any bat forget in all the countless years we've met? It seems the team we'll play tonight has beaten us in every fight. So it looks like they're over a carnival and they're going to watch the ball game. We wing from dark to dazzling bright, startled by the stunning sight of colors like we've never seen. The brown so brown, the green so green. Oh, they even have snacks to get? Probably bug snacks. All right, what does this say? Fried dough, garlic fries, hot dogs. Those are human snacks. A flying vendor flutters near. Moth dogs, get your moth dogs here. Raise a wing and catch a snack. Perhaps you'd like some cricket jack. We show our tickets, find our places, watch the grounds crew lay the bases. We got a plane flying overhead. They roll the foul lines, rake the mound, shape the field, and smooth the ground. Oh boy, they're using like a shaker to do the lines and a fork to rake. And oh, and don't forget your moth dogs. Get your moth dogs. All right, so they are eating some bat food. Sudden silence, then a cheer. Hooray, the baseball bats are here. A bat star sings our anthem song. With wings on heart, we sing along. And when she's done, the umpires call, welcome fans, and now, you guys know the drill, play ball. All right, so they got the flag out. And looks like they're doing an anthem like we do at the games. And look at this bat with his gigantic ears. Something changes with those words. We feel a magic shift and ride the currents of the game as time is set adrift. At first, we're full of reckless joy. Their batters strike out fast, but when our batters strike out too, our laughter doesn't last. Our players muddle through the game from innings 2 through 5 with nothing chalked up in the 6th. They haven't come alive. Oh, it doesn't look like their team's doing too good. They're excited, then they're upset. Oh, I got a Asian lady beetle on me. There we go. And they're just not doing too good. But in the 7th, signs of life. Too bad it's not our team. Their fearless flyer cruises home and tramples on our dream. We find a golden moment in the middle of it all. The batter swings. It's going to foul. We reach and catch the ball. So something happened, but it wasn't their player. Got in on first base, not first base, home plate. Okay, you think I don't know anything about baseball? And look at all the fans. Somebody caught the ball coming out. Get it going, throw a strike. We flap and howl and frown. The 7th inning stretch arrives at last to cool us down. We shake our feet and raise our wings and voices high and strong. Together, all the fans belt out the famous bat ball song. It says, oh, hang me up in the rafters, hang me by the toes, buy me some peanuts and cricket jack. And I can't read the rest of it. Then back at bat, our batters swing, but can't gain any ground. There doesn't seem to be a way to turn this game around. So they sing the song, and they're pretty upset because they don't think the game's gonna change in their favor. Grand bats talk of better times, of fields and heroes past. Their thoughts slide homeward through the years, across eternal grass. So has your dad or grandpa, or maybe even grandma, my grandma was a baseball fan, do they ever tell you about the cool stories of all those great players from the past? And of course, they're better than any players we have today. Then crack, the echo rockets round and yanks us to today. The bat at bat has smashed the ball, its cover torn away. Our flyer swoops from base to base, and if he scores, we're tied. Oh, look at him flying to the base. Wouldn't that be nice? And it looks like it's their guy in the red. And now the play is at the plate, and now the bats collide. So was the flyer safe, or did the catcher have the ball? When the dust has settled down, the umpire makes the call. So it looks like there's Grandpa and the grandson. They can't wait to see what the call is. There he is going to home plate. Out! The crowd erupts and hollers. No, you've lost your mind. Can't you see that bat was safe? Fire the ump. He's blind. Have you ever heard that in any games? And now the pressure's really on. It's here, our final out. It's 2 bats down and 1 on first, and fans are full of doubt. He swings, connects, and bloops to left. And there the flyers go. The fielder dives to stop the ball and gets back up to throw. So, boy, what a bummer. He was out. Now another batter's up. The play is to second. There it goes. It hits that pesky pole. It ricochets to center field and bouncing finds a hole. Our flyers streak around the field. The crowd lets out a roar. They're so excited. It's getting exciting. The crowd is cheering. It hit that pole. Nobody likes the pole that gets in the way. The throw to home is not in time, and both our flyers score. Pardon me. That's it. We won. Can you believe? Now nothing can erase the thrill that thunders in our hearts, the grin on every face. All right, the batter scored. They're so excited. All the bats are going crazy, eating their mothballs and who knows what else. Or moth dogs. Sorry, not mothballs. But in the east, the sky's aflame. We feel ejected from the game, still astonished that we won. We speed to beat the rising sun. So now the sun's coming up. Pardon me. The sun is coming up, and they're bats, so they got to get home before the sun comes up. Safe at home, we settle in and talk about our thrilling win. Till one by one, we slide away and silently relive each play. In our dreams, that perfect green, our refuge from the drab routine of headlong flurried flight, until another baseball night. Until again we hear the call. Welcome, fans, and now, you guys gotta say it, play ball. All right, and look at the little bat. He's holding the little ball as he hangs upside down to go to sleep. The end. And that's Bats at the Ball Game. All right, now, bats don't really play ball. It's just a cute little book that has some really cute pictures of different kinds of bats in it. It's just a fun book. So, bats for real. So, bats this time of year get kind of a bad rap. You see scary bats. Now, most of the bats I have are pretty cute, but you see a lot of bats around that bats do not look like. Okay, bats don't have purple shiny wings or purple on their ears, okay? If they were this plump, they would not be able to fly. But there's lots of cute little stuffed bats out there. This one makes a noise, if you can hear that. And yes, I am fighting a cold, so I apologize for my coughing. So this little guy is really cute, but bats don't really look like this. Their teeth don't hang out like that, all right? This is one of my favorites. I'm a grown adult, and my mom still buys me stuffed bats, and it's okay with me. So this is a cute little tie bat. Okay, they're not glittered and gold, okay? But bats in their own right are pretty cool. So there's two main types of bats, okay? There's large bats called the Megabats, and tiny bats that can be the size of a bumblebee called the Microbats. Now, in Ohio, we have 11 to 12 bats that occur in Ohio. They don't live here all year long. Some of them do migrate, much like birds do, and they go down south for the winter because they can't survive here during the winter months. So, but a lot of our bats do stay, and they will hibernate. So that's a big word, hibernate, like a bear. Okay, they'll hibernate during the winter until maybe a nice day comes. So they're not quite like bear. They don't sleep the whole winter long, but usually they'll collect water on their backs. They'll take a drink from their back as they're hanging upside down, like in a cave. So bats will travel hundreds of miles to get to a hibernation site. Now, during the times when it's still nice outside, spring and summer, bats are going to be living in barns. They will live in caves. They'll sometimes live in our attics. Some bats do live in trees, but a lot of the common bats we see, like the big brown bat and little brown bat. Now, when I say big brown bat, it's not very big. Now, this is a stuffed animal, obviously. But big brown bats actually have a 12-foot wingspan. So if you put their wing, 12 foot, oh my, 12-inch wingspan. So about the size of an adult, like a foot, okay? So 12-inch wingspan, all right? And their bodies aren't very big. So the bats that we see in Ohio aren't gonna be very large. Now, when somebody sees one in their house, they're like, oh my gosh, there's a bat in my house. And they think it's huge. Just like that fish that Dad caught, okay, or Grandpa. It might have been this big, but it gets bigger the more people he tells, right? He's not lying. He just remembers it differently. People get scared when they see a bat, and they think it's bigger than it is. So the most common bat in Ohio is the big brown bat. That's about the most common that you'll see. And they like to live around people's houses, and they can find a lot of bugs around our lights at night and stuff like that. So during the spring and summer, we'll see them out a lot at night because they are nocturnal. So we have the little bats in Ohio, the microbats. Now this is a bat that looks a little bit like the Mexican free-tailed bat. That's what it's supposed to be. And these live in Austin, Texas. There are a lot of them down in Texas. So many of them come out of a cave at night that they show up on the weather radar. The heat signature shows up. So millions of bats come out of that cave every night in Austin. And they don't have bug problems down there because they eat tons of bugs. So our microbats are usually going to have smaller eyes and large ears to hear their food, okay? So they're going to chase insects, okay, on the wing. And as they fly around, they're not blind. They can see very well. So that's one of the myths about bats, is that they're blind. Bats see very well at night, much better than we do. So as they fly around and looking for bugs, they'll a lot of times take their tail membrane, whip the food up, take their wing and whip it to their mouth, okay, or they'll actually hit it with their wing, whip it up with their tail and grab it, all right? This all happens very quickly, okay, so they can eat and eat and eat. They have a very fast metabolism. So a little brown bat, which is even smaller than the big brown, can eat hundreds of insects a night. Now we're talking things like mosquito-sized bugs, beetles. I have a beetle crawling on my phone right now. A lot of those insects are the ones that they eat. Now, this really helps with farmers' crops because beetles can really devastate crops. And a lot of a lot of pests can carry diseases like insects. I should have brought water out here with me. So a lot of, bugs can be carriers of disease. They just can be annoying. They can eat up our crops. So bats really help out a lot by eating tons of bugs. So we have microbats, which are as small as a bumblebee. Okay, there's bats. The bumblebee bat is about the size of a bumblebee, and it weighs less than a penny. Okay, so it's very light. So that's the smallest bat. That one lives in Thailand. Now we have megabats, so our big bats can have up to a 7-foot, and I actually do mean foot, wingspan. So those are some large bats. Now, they don't even usually eat meat. These guys are going to look for flowers, okay, fruits and flowers. So this bat, okay, this is a straw-colored flying fox bat, would be found in like Australia. My phone keeps doing something funny, so I'm hoping that you guys aren't seeing that glitch in there. But they're going to look for things like fruit or flowers. So some of the larger bats have long tongues so they can get in there and get the pollen out, nectar. As they're eating on that flower, the pollen sticks to their fur. And as they travel flower to flower, they deposit the pollen. And so they pollinate flowers, much like our hummingbirds, butterflies, things like that, bees, okay? Bats in other countries are very important pollinators as well. So there's about, I apologize, there's about 1,200 species of bats in the world, and like 800 of those are your microbats, so the other ones are your megabats. So megabats aren't usually gonna have as big of ears, okay, because they're not listening for their food. Their eyes might be larger because they're looking for their food, okay? So our megabats a lot of times look like flying dogs. Okay, so this is a straw-colored flying fox. This is another type of flying fox bat that you see in the Stella Luna book, all right? These guys can actually carry their young on their stomachs as they fly, all right? And you'll see them hanging on them as they like hang in the trees, okay? Now, the littler bats can't do that, so they'll leave their babies behind as they go and hunt. And usually it'll be hundreds of babies all together at once. Now, how do they find their babies when they come back? Well, your mom knows how you sound, right? If you're like in a crowd of kids, you're like, Mom, Mom, Mama, Mom, Mommy, Mom. Oh my gosh, I love it when my kid does that. He's out of that stage now, but the bat knows the sound of their kid's voice, just like your mom knows your voice, so she can find her baby. Even though there's hundreds of them in the barn hanging upside down, she can find her baby, so it's pretty amazing. So there's a few, so that's the different kinds of bats. Like I said, microbats can sometimes have the large, gigantic ears, so they can hear better. Another thing with microbats, the smaller bats, is they have some crazy noses. They might have pig noses, like this cartoon bat, Bartok from the show Anastasia a long time ago. They might have ridges in their noses. Okay, this all helps them find their food. So how do they find their food? So when a bat is flying outside, now this would be a large one, okay? So when he's flying outside, he emits sounds to that food. So let's say that this is his food, okay? He's emitting sounds that we can't hear. The sound waves bounce off the object back to his ears, okay? It's called echolocation, and that's how he finds his food. So as he's flying around, he can know that there's trees around, there's a building, or there's a moth that he's trying to find to eat, okay? So this is called echolocation. Now, they do this at night, so they're not competing for bugs with other things like dragonflies and birds, other insect eaters, because they're nocturnal. So nocturnal means they come out at night, and a lot of times bats come out at dusk to hunt their food. All right, so there's lots of different kinds of bats. Some of the myths that we hear is they're blind. They are not. They see better than we do at night. They don't fly into our hair, okay? People say they're flying rats, okay? So I guess if you see a bat and you see it flying around, it looks maybe like a little flying rat. It's not. It's in its own group called Chiroptera. That's a big word. It means hand wing. They have like a hand on each side of their body connected with this thin membrane that makes their wing. So this is their thumb up here. So vampire bats actually can walk on their wings using their thumbs, okay? So these are little hands made into wings, basically. So They're in their own group of animals. They're not flying rats. And people say bats have rabies. Okay. Very small population of bats can have rabies. And rabies is a virus that we can get. You know, we hear about the coronavirus, right? That we can get with germs. It's another virus that we can get from animals from blood-to-blood contact or saliva contact. So contact with the saliva or blood. So if we get bit by an animal, we could possibly get it. The best way to prevent getting rabies, okay, is to not touch animals we don't know. Because even dogs and cats can have it. It's not very prevalent. It occurs very rarely, especially in bats. But the important thing is to not touch animals that you don't know. You always want to do the thumb rule. Make sure when you hold your thumb out, see, I'm too close to you. If I was an animal and you're gonna try to come and see me, you want to keep your distance. This cold is killing me. So you want to keep your distance from an animal. Now, if you think it needs help, get mom or dad or another adult and call someone. You can call us for advice. Call Bruckner Nature Center in Troy. And if you're in another state, because this does go on YouTube, if you're in another state, you can call a local rehabilitator and see if they can help. It's very important as it gets colder that we don't just find a bat and put it outside. But there are things you can do if you find a bat in your house. There's things you can do without freaking out and hitting it with a broom. You don't want to do any of that. Calmly open a window, let it out if it's nice out. If it's cold, if it's winter, you want to try to get it into a container with an adult, obviously, and call somebody for help, all right? Most of the time, they just need put back outside when it's nice out. If it's winter, sometimes rehabilitation centers will have to overwinter them. So there's a lot of good things that we can help, a lot of good ways we can help bats without trying to take care of them ourselves. We don't want to do that because, you know, you're not a professional. There's professionals out there that do this for a living. They know what to feed them. They know what kind of enclosures they need and all that kind of stuff. It's very specialized. So the thing to remember is there's a lot of myths out there, especially this time of year. They're not going to run. They're not going to fly down and bite you. They're not going to get in your hair. They're not blind. They can see very well. They don't just run around with rabies, okay? And they're a very important animal because the ones in Ohio and, you know, in the United States, they eat tons of bugs for us. The ones in other parts of the country, like this big flying fox bat, is a big seed spreader because they will eat seeds like fruits. And then when they go fly around and they go to the bathroom, they're depositing seeds all over, and those will grow into more plants, right? Now, the ones that don't eat fruit, you know, don't eat fruit and spread seeds, they might be the pollinators. Whoops, this guy's got a leaf on his nose. So those are going to be the ones that pollinate the flowers for us to help create more fruits. So bats are a super important animal. And if you want to learn more information about bats, or you encounter a bat and don't know what to do sometime, you can get on batcon, batcon.org, and they have some great information. The Bat World Sanctuary is another great resource. So I hope you guys enjoyed the book Back to the Ball Game today and enjoyed learning some great facts about bats, some non-scary facts. Halloween's one of my favorite times of year. It's so fun. But there's a lot of animals that get a bad rap. So let's remember that those are stories meant to kind of scare us, to have fun with. But it's usually stories that aren't true. So bats are really important, and an animal that we, like all animals, they all do something great for us, and they're really cool to watch, and they're all important in their own right. So it's really important to try to protect them. Now, Miss Maggie wants me to give you a magic word, Miss Maggie from the New Carlisle Library, so you can enter it for a prize. And the word of the day is nocturnal, because bats are nocturnal. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and till next time, bye.